everybody, I wanted to show you once you have gotten your folders organized, gone through the internet to search for images that connect to the theme, have cleaned them up in Photoshop or manipulated them in Photoshop, you're ready for the final step, which is putting them together to create a work of graphic design. To do this, you're going to use a program called Adobe Illustrator. And Adobe Illustrator is specifically made to work with graphics and to combine images. It is not made for photo editing, so that's something that to just be aware of. When we go to do this, we're doing a front and back page project. So I'm going to do Create New. I'm going to want it, since it's the cover, it's going to be 8.5 by 11, but I need 2 pages. So the artboards is the fancy name for pages in this program. So I'm going to hit 2, and then I'm going to click Create. And it's going to create a 2-page document for me. If it's too close, I can click on the keyboard Control-, and that will back me up. And I can hit Control+ to move forward. I also can grab the hand tool and drag the pages around if I want them kind of in the middle. Okay? For this program, you can see it's very similar to Photoshop. There's tools over here. This is the menu that pops up as you are doing things and all the options that come up for you. When you're just clicking on things, you want the selection tool because that allows you to click around. Okay? First thing I'm going to do to make my project is put in the background, the very back thing that's in the picture. So I'm going to go File, Place. I'm not opening a separate file. I'm putting something into the document. So I'm going to go D drive, go into my yearbook folder, go to my cover art project. I found a spooky jungle picture that I manipulated, so I'm going to place that in there. You can see it's kind of asking where do you want it, so I'm going to line it up with the corner, plop it down, and then I can grab the corner with the Shift tool and make it bigger. Now the picture was really small, so it's pixelated, so I may want to go back and find a higher resolution picture, but I'm not super worried about it. It is going over into my other page, which I do not want, so I'm going to crop it. And how you do that is a little complicated in Illustrator, but basically you're going to grab the rectangle tool. Again, you hover over them, they tell you what they are. I'm going to make a shape over the thing I want to keep, and then I'm going to make something called a clipping mask. So grab the arrow, this is selected, I hold down Shift, click the back, go Object, Clipping Mask, Make, and you can see it crops it for me. So there's my background. Now I wanted my project to look like a National Geographic magazine. That's what I'm referencing. So I actually want to bring in a National Geographic magazine so I can literally copy the colors. So I'm going to go File, Place again. Looking in my files, I found a National Geographic magazine. I'm going to plop that in there. I'm going to zoom out so I can see it. And if I hold down Shift, it allows me to adjust the size without making it all stretchy. So now I have that. I can zoom back in. I'm going to grab my hand so I can get a little closer to the way I want it. And now I just have this to kind of look at. I might reference the text. I might try to get that symbol in there. So I have this, which is nice. Okay. I think that I want there to be the classic gold frame around it, because I think that will be a nice reference to the National Geographic. So I'm going to grab the rectangle tool again. I'm going to make a box. And then I'm going to grab the eyedropper tool, and it grabbed that yellow. So it's the same exact yellow, which is what I want. Now you can see it filled the inside, but I only want the outside to be the yellow. So if I hit this switchy button, it swaps it, and then I just need to make the line thicker so I can see it. So if I come over here, here are all the options. The stroke is how thick the line is, so if I turn this up, you can see the line is getting thicker, getting thicker. I think that looks pretty good. So now I have that kind of set to go. Now I'm going to want to put some text on top of here, but currently there's things here and I might move them around as I'm doing stuff. So I'm going to select the whole thing. So again, I've got my arrow, I drag a box over it, you can see it's all selected, and go Object, Lock, Selection. And now as I click on this, it doesn't do anything, it stays still. If I want to undo it, I go Object, Unlock All, and it'll release it. Okay? Here's the text tool. So I think instead of National Geographic, it's going to say Shabazz Yearbook or something like that. So I'm going to grab the Type tool. I need a text box, so I'll drag it. And it gives you some blank text just to fill it, so I can delete that. I'm going to write Shabazz Yearbook. I'm going to highlight it because right now it's way too small. Now here's all the text options. So number one for sure is it needs to be bigger. So I made it kind of about the size I want. It needs to be on 2 lines, so I'm just going to hit the enter. I'm going to come down here. I want it centered in the box, so I'll click the center button. Now I'm trying to match this text, so what I'm going to do is I have it highlighted. I'm going to click in the text box. I'm just going to go up and down until I see one that looks really similar. I noticed that there's kind of this line at the top of all the letters, so I think that's pretty close, but let's keep looking. I think that one's pretty good. Let's keep looking. No. The other thing I'm noticing is it's all cap letters. That one is, I think, pretty good. So, and it's also all caps, which works great. It's not the right color. So again, anytime I'm doing something, I highlight it. I'm going to come down to the color, double click, get my white. There we go. And the letters need to be closer together and a little bit stretched out. So if you look down here, this is the spacing between the letters that you can manipulate. This is the stretchiness of the letter from the left, and then the angle of the letter. So I'm going to make them a little closer together, because I think that will. I'm just holding down the button as they squish. I think they need to be closer, so I'm going to have them adjusted so that they're closer together. There we go. That looks pretty good. And then if I want to change the font size, there we go. That looks pretty good. So now I can take it, place it into my project. Now I want them to be a little more noticeable. So sometimes what you can do is each font has some options with it. So I'm going to highlight it, see if it has a bold option. It does. And now you can see it better. And I just kind of like how that looks. Okay. I'm noticing there's font here and here, so I might put a text box there and a text box there. I might have something over here that relates to Shabazz is an undiscovered world, something that relates to the nature theme. So I can play around with that. Okay. On the back of National Geographic's are ads, so I might come up with something kind of funny about buying Crawford a new doggy dish or something like that. That will be fun. But I've got my background, I've got my text, I've got a border. I'm pretty happy with it. Once I think I'm ready, I'm going to go File, Save As, and you're going to want to save it just as a raw Adobe Illustrator file. So this is Cover Project. I'm going to save it. Make sure it's saving into your D drive. And I'm also going to go File, Save As, and change it to a PDF. A PDF is a printable file, and I'll save it there. And I'm going to exit Illustrator and open up that file so you can just see kind of what it looks like. So go into the folder, go into my D drive, Cover Project, open it up. It's going to open it as an Adobe PDF project, and then you can get a sense of what the file kind of looks like. And that's about it.